Good. Okay. I think I should be good. Let me go ahead and just make sure that I send this out to everybody else. Make sure everybody gets it. I am now live. And then I am now live. There we go. And let's go ahead and start the recording.
Recording in progress.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for your patience and thank you for checking out another one of my weekly Forex analysis. I really do appreciate it. My computer is acting up, so it was very difficult for me. Hold on, let me actually make sure that I am all good because for some reason it seems like I'm not. Let me see. Huh. Okay, no, I am good. Okay, cool. But yeah, like I was having some difficulties, and so it's just like, hey, let me go ahead and make sure that I'm all good, and I've got it all done. So let's go ahead and get down to business. So first and foremost, let's go over the fundamental analysis. Just look over some quick news real quick. There is OPEC meetings all day on Wednesday, so that is for those who usually do trade oil, and that is going to be oil related news. And so, and there's also something that I had noticed, or that I had I mentioned in one of my chats. I had said that there is, let me go ahead and hop back on, but there was, the White House announced earlier today, I guess, or maybe I don't even know when, but they said that announced that the G7 countries pledged to halt imports of Russian oil. And so with that, with the lack of imports of oil from somewhere who has a lot of oil, that's probably going to mean that the chances of gas prices going higher, the chances are high, right? So that's something that you definitely want to watch out for with that OPEC meeting. I mean, not even with the OPEC meetings overall. And I'll take a look at U.S. oil on the charts, but just in general, because of them not using that Russian oil, that could be something that raises demand, and then supply will be lower. So, how that goes. Gas prices increase. We have CPI, core CPI, at 7:30 a.m. on Wednesday, and then we have PPI at 7:30 on Wednesday as well. But other than that, that is it for news this week. I like when there's weeks like this. Makes me be able to have good confidence in when I'm trading overall. So let's go ahead and take a look at the US dollar. Going to go over a few of these pairs. I'm actually cutting down my watch list down tremendously for things that I personally trade, but I will always be like, hey, what do you guys want to take a look at? Like, for instance, I'm going to go ahead and mention right now, what do you guys want to take a look at? Like, if there are any pairs that you guys want me to take a look at, go ahead and drop them in the chat. I already have a few of these that I'm taking a look at already, but if you have anything in particular, go ahead and send that in the chat, and I can go ahead and take a look at it. So, when it comes to the DXY, right? Week number 2 that we've closed above this zone. And actually, let me see if I can ask my boy, or let me just go onto his, because I'm pretty sure that he has the DXY with the volume on it. This is what I wanted to see. USD JPY, I'll definitely take a look at it. But yeah, let me take a look at the US dollar with the volume on it. And I want the volume on it, because then it's just easier for me to gauge what I feel like the market's gonna do, right? So the US dollar index, the DXY, basically at this zone. It's actually pretty interesting that this US dollar index is different than, you know what, in fact, let me go ahead and add symbol. No, hold on, I want to add DXY to this one, so that I could have because this is the charts. This is the charts that I know that he looks at. So I mean the markets that he looks at. So over here, same thing. These are the markets I generally look at. But I'm going to switch off that DXY that's up here with this one. But you guys see the difference, how on this DXY prices came higher than this zone, whereas on this one, and price is relatively the same. It almost looks the same, but this has volume on it, and so that's the only reason why I'm more. Actually, let me take a look at the monthly candle or the monthly time frame and see which one has more data in the past. So this goes up to 2008, whereas this goes way farther. So I'm gonna have to not use that, unfortunately, and I'm okay with that. But yeah, so when it comes to the US dollar, you know, according to this chart that we have here, it has broken above this zone, and it's closed above it 2 weeks in a row now. You know, last week we had this candle where we had it looks just like a retest, you know, just a breakout of the zone, a retest, and price is closed above the zone again, and it even looks better than, it just looks like it's just going to keep going at this point. You know, like the US dollar is pretty bullish. That's why I didn't want to really try to get any bearish plays in. I almost, like, I try to get in, but you're getting a lag on the video. That's weird. Is everybody else fine on it? Hold on. So you check the video resolution. Yeah, I don't know why that video resolution is so large. And I could be trying to change the video resolution too. Let me see something real quick. Yeah, you see, I've been trying to change that, and I don't even remember when's the last time that happened. Okay, the good connection, but I'll continue with it. But that's just weird. But you know, overall, when it comes to the DXY, I'm still like, hey, you know, right now it's really bullish to me, and I really don't want to try and go against the bulls at this time, right? Going on to the 4-hour time frame, I see that price closed above this recent zone right here. You know, there's a zone that price had rejected twice before it ultimately closed above it and then dropped lower. What I'm kind of wanting to see right now at this point, especially with how price turned around right here, I would love to see if price can give me a retracement back to the downside to continue the bearish, to continue a bullish move. But I don't think that's going to happen, but that's what my eyes are currently on, because I'm just going with the trend at this point. All right, and it just, again, it doesn't make sense as to why I would try to go against the trend for me personally at this time, you know. So we're gonna see what goes on, but I mean, overall, I would love to even see I would love to see something like this type of play happen in the near future, but that's only when the US dollar does decide to go bearish. Like at this point, I have to say that until price really does break below 102.336, I am bullish on the US dollar. And once it does that, it could still just be a corrective move down over to the likes of in between 100.694 and 101.414, or it can even be lower than that. You know, the correction could come down all the way to down here. Like, there's a lot of correcting that the US dollar needs to do, and it doesn't look like it's going to do that anytime soon. Like, this is the zone that I would have to see get broken for me to be like, okay, maybe the US dollar is going to go bearish. And even this zone, I feel like this is the zone that you can really start to say, yes, this is now where we could start seeing a true reversal, not a correction, on the US dollar. So, you know, it's just, again, there's just so much bullish price action that the price isn't showing. It's like, at this point, unless you really see price breaking through this low, you might as well just be looking for a buying opportunity on the US dollar. So we're going to be seeing what that is. I'm going to be getting back to my aggressive state that I've once been in. But oh, let me go on over to arbitrage. Check out what RB talking about for the DXY. You know, weekly time frame. I mean, it called a buy back in June, so it's just been like so trendy to the upside, and it's crazy how it's just been so like one way move this whole time. But you know, daily time frame still very much bullish. Nothing really to show there. 4-hour time frame, it had called for the sell, and I wanted this retracement right here, but the way how even the 4-hour candle closed up, I would have been like, yeah, I'm not gonna get into this sell. Although I would have very much have loved to have been paying attention to that during the week, no cap. And then the 1-hour time frame is not really showing us anything either. So, you know, the 4-hour time frame is just called for a buy. So the expectation that price will continue to go bullish is what I'm fully expecting. Like, quite honestly, until I see this zone right here get broken, I just feel like this is just going to continue going bullish overall. So going over to Euro USD. EU, kind of the same thing, man. I mean, it almost closed below these lows, but it was just at an interesting point. Like there was this wedge here that I was saying, hey, I want to see price break out of it to one side, and then it broke out to the upside, then came right back down to do a complete retracement. Once I see moves like that for a complete retracement, I mean, I do know that last week I was saying I want to see price climb up over here to the likes of 1.0800 basically. Let me see if I have the drawing still up. Fib retracement. Nope. Fib retracement. There we go. Where I wanted to see price come up to these highs, or come up to this lower high before making a lower low to the downside. But at this point, I don't even think price is gonna get up there. Like even the bullish candlestick that we have right here, it's pretty bullish. Let me get rid of these lines over here real quick. Going on over to the 4-hour time frame, when I took a look at this, like price made this bearish move, and I mean, even the candlestick pattern, you see a shooting star, then 1, 2, 3 bearish candles. It's kind of interesting to see that after that play, you get the retracement, and then price comes back into that fib zone, knocking that 71% while also hitting that, you know, that 50 EMA, then pushing to the downside. I feel like this is probably just gonna wait a minute. There we go. I feel like this is just gonna keep pushing to the downside at this point. And just based off of when you go on to the daily and the weekly, let's even just go on the weekly. Like the weekly candlestick from last week. Let me hide the drawing. This weekly candlestick is not telling me to buy. This weekly candlestick right here, this is telling me to, like, oh, this is going to continue falling. And it's wild how this on the weekly time frame has the largest volume. And wait, this was this the week of FOMC? No, it wasn't. This was the week of FOMC last week. You know, this is the week that has the largest volume, and it's been since over here back in February 2021. And when we go back to see what it goes back in February 2021, right here, right? This is where, I mean, this is not where the start of the bearish move was, but you can clearly see that this is the largest volume that we've seen since then. And so, and it's again, like when you see large volume on large candlesticks, it usually does mean that price is just going to continue going that direction, you know. So when I see that weekly, this huge bearish candle, there's large volume with it as well that we haven't seen for months. I mean, it's even been longer than a year since we've last seen that kind of volume. So it's kind of like, ugh. It's kind of like, it's like, I just feel like price is just going to continue going bearish. So at this point in time, I'm just going to have to see what happens. Like, you know, I wasn't even aware of this move that it looked like that, it just made it turn around and look like this. And you know what price could ultimately be doing as well? It could just be, you know, just creating some, just rejecting off of this trend line and go bullish. But from the trend, from the current trend that it's in, I wouldn't try to buy it currently. It looks more of a bearish move than anything. And I'm pretty sure that arbitrage, oh wow, arbitrage actually is looking a little bullish on the 4-hour time frame. Interesting. All right, so what is this? Okay, so arbitrage right now, you know, it did the breakout to the upside, then it made a retracement. I like that it rejected off of this lower danger zone all right here. You know, that's a good telling sign for me that, hey, this could still potentially go bullish. I do not like how the arbitrage Z down here is underneath ground zero, but the level pro is pointing right up. So there could still be a possibility of Euro USD going bullish. Let me delete this over here. There still is a possibility of Euro USD going bullish, but as of right now, just because of how the other time frames look, the daily, very much bearish. The weekly, very much bearish. You know, even the 1 hour time frame is not that great looking for a buy right now. You know, even the 1 hour time frame just looks like it's going bearish. Let me go on to the 2 hour real quick. Yeah, even the 2 hour is not the greatest looking. And from just, again, from what I had drawn out with the fibs right here, it's not in my best interest to look for any type of buying opportunities. You know, just price bouncing off the 71% and then dropping. It's not worth it to me. So I'm just gonna be patient and wait. You know, hey, maybe when price comes down to the 23.6 over here, let me flip the fib around. Maybe we can see price hold off at the zone right here to go bullish. And if it does, that'd be nice. I might not take the trade. Well, hold on, let me actually look at the 5-minute time frame real quick. Price did break structure over here to the left. This is more of a 15-minute play, but price did break that structure to the left. It's coming in. I might be looking for a buy opportunity, but it all depends on how price continues to come down over here. You know, it is Sunday, but we'll see what goes down with that on Euro USD. 80 USD. I'm not going to take a look at this pair because I'm not really trading it that actively, but I want to trade popular pairs that people usually ask for. Oh, and actually, let me go on to USD JPY before I go on to gold. That actually would be, that's actually the best what I'm going to do right now. So, daily time frame. I have not analyzed this market in so long. Hold on, let me actually see what was the last analysis that I did. Okay, I have something drawn up over here. Wow. Oh, wow. Wow. So I had done this back in, I guess, yeah, not that long ago. Back in, like, this is just back in April, where I said that, hey, from this bullish move, the retracement, it looks like price can just continue going bullish, and it definitely did that to the upside. But anyways, remove drawings, going on over to the monthly time frame, 'cause I haven't looked at this analysis or this pair in a while. Man, this is hard to argue against. It looks, I mean, it's not as bullish. I mean, let me not say that. It looks more bullish to me than the DXY itself does. And no, it's about the same. But still, holy mackerel, man. The Japanese yen is getting destroyed against the US dollar right now. Okay, so monthly time frame, huge zone right here overall that price can either A, reject off of right now, or just B, continue going to the upside. And when you go onto the weekly time frame, you see just how much more upside USD JPY could definitely make before hitting a critical high point, right? Weekly time frame, yeah, price is just looking like it's going to continue going bullish after this many weeks, and then we have big volume off of this candle right here. It's kind of, and the price is just closing more to the upside. It's like, when is this going to stop? Realistically, like, it's hard to call a top on this. It's very difficult. Daily candlesticks, I'm looking at oh, not tweezer bottoms, but two more both like I mean, it's basically tweezer bottoms, you know. So I was like, that's another instance where I'm like, hey, that's not a good case of me looking for sells on USD JPY. And based off of this 4 hour, I mean, it looks like it's a bullish flag. First of all, kind of, not even kind of, but you know, price could just definitely continue pushing to the downside, or it does something like this, and then break out to the upside. Is, you know, that's what basically I would be looking at for UJ, because it's just so bullish. Like, how can you call a top on this? You know, I don't want to just say that, oh, let's sell right here, and just because it's done something like this, because I mean, I could see why somebody would sell to this right now. Like, it's at a key zone where it could possibly fall at. You know, it's at the 78.6 Fibonacci zone. If you want to take that risk, by all means, I mean, if you're looking for a bearish bias, I mean, I would do it right here, right now, for the sell opportunity, you know? But it's just way too bullish for me to even consider that, because the sell, the sell can just be short-lived, and the price can just continue going bullish. And the way how the US dollar looks as well, again, I'm not really that crazy looking for a bullish move. And now, with that being said, that doesn't mean that price can just, and you know, I'm going to keep this bearish bias here. I feel like that's exactly what price is going to do. I just don't trade USD JPY. But I do feel like, you know, the possibility of price just chilling right here. It's Sunday, so the possibility of price stopping right here and just pushing to the downside, it does exist, and it actually doesn't look that terrible to me. You know, especially after breaking through this zone right here. After price breaking through this zone right here, like the possibility of, hey, from that low to this high, price retracing back down even just to 129.192, that could be a possibility right here, right now, let alone price coming down over here to the bottom of this channel at 128.238. So I see the possibility for the sell for sure. And if I were to trade USD JPY, then that would probably be the only thing that I see right now. Or price just breaks up to the upside and then continues making higher highs. But again, it's Sunday. I'm actually gonna put this on my watch list. But you know, it's Sunday, so we might just really see the rejections right here, and then price continue going bearish, or price go bearish for a little bit before going bullish. Going on over to arbitrage. Let's take a look at the weekly. I'm pretty sure this is ridiculously bullish. Yeah. Daily time frame, ridiculously bullish. 4-hour time frame. It's called for a buy, like pretty shortly before the market closed on Friday. 1-hour time frame. Price went bullish. Yeah, I'm not really. Yeah, the sells on UJ will be very difficult. Like, I can't justify it right now at all. Not saying that it's not possible, but I just cannot justify it at this point in time. So. My bad, my phone is jumping. But yeah, so USD JPY, we're definitely going to have to see what goes on with it. But like I mentioned, hey, it's a possible area where you could sell it off of for reals. And the risk to reward, like you would be, if this is your attempt to catch a top, now would be a good time, honestly. But now let's go on over to gold. So, and it's funny because I feel like, and actually let me take a look. I'm not sure if my FX book has that. I'm not sure if it has gold on here, but let's take a look at it. I want correlation. There we go. When I go over here to correlation, let me see if there's any gold on here. Yes, there is. I want to see how inverted or how much of a correlation gold has with USD JPY. So take off all these real quick. And then where is XAU USD? There you are. I don't know why my mouse is tripping. And then USD JPY, where is it? There we go. Okay. So they have an inverse correlation of minus 46%. So basically, that means that almost half of the time, if gold is going bullish, then USD JPY is going to go bullish. So that's half of the time. So almost half the time, because it's 46%. If you want to round it up to 50%, absolutely. But it's almost half of the time. Whenever gold is going bullish, USD JPY go bearish. So since we see that USD JPY has a possibility of going bearish, in my opinion, let's see if that's the same thing I'm going to be looking at for gold. But gold, I mentioned last week, I'm like, hey, and I even, for those who checked out my intraday/day trade analysis on Next Wave, you know, I had mentioned that, hey, I want to see price go bullish and reject off of this zone for a potential push to the downside on gold. And when I took a look at the arbitrage chart, I might have where I have, let me actually see if it's on here. I'll take a look on there. I don't know if I kept it or not, but we'll go and look at the play. And so price had rejected off of the 78.6 zone on this fib and pushed to the downside, came up over here to the 23.6, which if I flip it and take it from this low to this high, ends up being the 71%. You know, price is currently rejected right here, and it could go, it could be at a potential area where it it continues to go bullish. But right now, price is making lower highs and lower lows. This is the newest lower high. Unless price breaks through this zone right here, I actually feel like I want to make it this zone. But if I see this price breaks through this zone, then that's what I'll be like, okay, there might be a possibility of price starting to change its course. But until then, right now at this point, I'm actually looking for this play on gold, where it pushes up to 1900 or 1897 and then continuation to the downside, just like how I have right here. Basically the same thing, but it's just on the lower time frame on gold. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up an alert right here at 1893 so that I can know when it's approaching that area. Create. Take a look at what we have on arbitrage. Okay, weekly time frame, prices just at this upper danger zone. That weekly candlestick doesn't look that crazy to me. Daily time frame, that wick to the upside makes me believe that prices wants to continue going to the downside. And when price rejected off of that lower danger zone, that's a good sign, but not good enough for me to have a bullish bias on this quite yet. 4-hour time frame, price is currently above that RSI line, and the compass line is right there. Ooh, this kind of looks like how EU looks like to me for a buy. You know, if I was going to buy it, maybe right here is a good position to do it for arbitrage. But I'm not super confident, especially with how the level pro is starting to look like it's pointing down, and the arbitrage Z itself is like in the bear zone. I'm not really gonna try to buy it. And 1 hour time frame, called for the buy right before the market closed. Yeah, I'm just gonna chill out for a little bit. Again, it could definitely just go bullish right here, and even if it goes up to like 1893 or 1900, that's a good sign. But overall, I'm bearish on gold. You know, I mean, realistically, dang, do I want to take this gold trade? Let me see. So from this low to this high, like I said, price hit, I want to do this right here. Price hit the 71%. If it goes bullish, 61.8 is 1944, and that is above the 1900 zone. Dang, man, I don't know. I don't know if I want to buy this. Really, like I really don't have. Let me go look at the 2 hour time frame. Everything is just riding on that thing right now. Nah, I'm gonna leave it alone. I'd rather look for the sell than try to get into a buy right now, because the buy can just fall off where it's at right now. Let's take a look at these indices, because they are not looking like they are in good shape. Weekly time frame. I'm probably gonna end up talking about gold in the chats later on. Like, it's actually at a very interesting spot. I feel like maybe somebody was talking about a buy. Yeah, Sean, it's funny. Sean said that he's looking for buys on gold too. That's funny. Yeah, we'll see let's see what happens. But weekly time frame S&P looks extremely bearish. Last week, this candlestick is not the candlestick to try to go up against and try to buy on it. You know, for the weekly time frame. Daily time frame, the market opened up over here at 4116 and it's down to 4087. That is a 0.71% decrease in the market, and it just opened like 4 hours ago, or I mean after hours, if you will, for the S&P. And you know, I had mentioned that from this high to this low, this is going to be an area where I looked for buying opportunities. I mean, yeah, from the 78.6 right here, it did go and hit 1-to-1 off of, it would have made a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio, but I was saying that just because price has not broken through this zone right here, I'm not so comfortable looking for the buys. And so I didn't take the buy, and you know, I'm pretty happy that I didn't, because price just looks like it's going to keep pushing to the downside. Now, you know, that monthly candlestick is scary, man. And the way how this weekly time frame looks, this looks like it's gonna keep pushing to the downside. And if this keeps pushing to the downside, I mean, recession. I mean, I feel like I've talked about a recession in the past, and that was before COVID happened. And I feel like at this point in time, I mean, I would have to really go back and look at some of my past analysis to see if I've said that. But I said that maybe this pandemic that's happened, and we were due, not to say due, but the way how things were before the pandemic happened, that a recession might be in play. Like there might be, because the way how the U.S. dollar is just going up. First of all, like it's kind of crazy how it's just been so bullish. Like I'm not really too sure how healthy this is for the U.S. dollar, or if it's unhealthy for the rest of the currencies out there, you know? So when I'm taking a look at that, and then I see the weekly S&P looking so bearish like this, and I feel like it's just going to push through this zone and continue going bearish, you know? 3,795, 3,491, those are all very much realistic targets, especially with how this thing has just been one-sided bullish for so long. Now it's due for a correction, you know. So looking at the daily time frame, very much bearish. Like I'm actually at a point where I wouldn't be mad at placing a sell stop. I really would not mind placing a sell stop right now, quite honestly, for these lows down here. That's not necessarily, to me, a bad idea, because this thing just looks like it's gonna keep going. You know, the cryptos. Oh my, 4% on the wait. There's a couple more minutes left. There is a couple more minutes left until the cryptos reset. I thought that just happened right now. I was like, oh wow. But you know, we'll talk about Bitcoin and them very shortly. You know, but everything on arbitrage, 1 hour time frame, 4 hour time frame, daily time frame, weekly time frame. Well, the weekly time frame's been here, and I still have to give kudos to arbitrage, because this was fire. It gave me multiple opportunities, and it's just my fault for not taking them. But you know, these U.S. indices, they're not in good positions at all, and it just looks like these companies are just going to take more hits. And if you go and look at the stock market is bloody, and it's just I've talked about this, and I'm pretty sure there's videos on the app and both on Trade the Next Wave, and you guys have seen me talked about this before for those who are watching this analysis and have watched my analysis in the past. The emotional cycle, this like right now, like the greed was too high. Like when you look at the market and it's just one-sided for too long like this, like just going bullish, that's when you know like the greed is just too high, and there's going to be a lot of people who are up here who are going to get wrecked. And that's just how the market goes. In order for people to win, there has to be much more people losing. So same thing with this US 30. I feel like this is just going to continue going bearish. I wouldn't be upset at putting a buy stop at freaking 32,440, or I mean a sell stop at that price, and for price to push to the downside. I would not be surprised if this continues going bearish. Like the price action is telling me it's gonna go. You know, weekly time frame on arbitrage, same thing, bearish. It's already broken past the lower danger zone, so I expect this to continue again falling. Daily time frame, I expect this to continue pushing to the downside. I would not have sold here, quite honestly, but hey, it was still a signal. 4-hour time frame, same thing, bearish move. Everything is just bearish, and I feel like it's just gonna continue going. So if you are the person who wants to go ahead and place those sell stops, by all means, man, because it just looks like it's just gonna keep going. NASDAQ, you know, I was saying that I wanted it to push up to 13,287 before going bearish. It went up slightly higher than that, but then still ended up going bearish, like how I was saying I wanted it to go. Looking at the weekly time frame, same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks in a row. About to be 6 weeks in a row of just pure bearish movement, and the volume is only starting to pick up even more. That's not a good look, quite honestly. And then we see that there was huge volume over here, and then the week after that price just made a lower low on the higher time frames. And we haven't seen this much volume that was back in January since basically forever. So that's something that, like, for the NASDAQ is like, it's funny, I didn't even notice that until today. But then we're seeing even higher volume, and we haven't had this high of volume since, again, like ever. And that was just from last week. So there's definitely something big coming, and it's not a good look at all. I feel like there's something huge coming that is not a good look for these indices. It's not going to be great for investors or anything like that, you know. It's just, oof, man. Give me a second. There we go. Okay. But you know, again, there's just, oof, man. As much as arbitrage called this sell, I just didn't. I missed the opportunity. I missed the opportunity to shoot my shot. It is what it is. But let's go on over to the crypto. Let's go on over to Bitcoin, because the weekly candlestick is going to close in 4 minutes. Guys, I've been saying, you know, as much as I want the opportunity for price to go bullish, if it didn't hold over here, I expect it to continue going bearish. You know, I even tried seeing if that Wyckoff, it looked pretty decent on the lower time frames for a Wyckoff possibility to happen. But right now, let me just go over to the weekly time frame. So let me just delete all this stuff over here. Oops. Delete all that stuff. Okay, so weekly time frame. Prices dropped more this week, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Let me measure it. From the high of 40K to down here, prices dropped 15.5%, 15.6%, and in the past how many weeks? And the second one was at 10.69%, and that's just for the past like month and a half, 2 months. You know what I'm saying? But the prices just continue to drop and drop. I do believe that if price breaks through this little support right here, which, you know, I don't really have that much faith to think that it's gonna go bullish from here. But if price drops below this, it's gonna fall beneath 28K. It's gonna fall beneath 24K. Like, for the way how prices are just dropping, it's no way. Ain't no way. You know what I'm saying? So, let me see what drawings I have on here. I have way too many drawings of all of this over here. I have way too many drawings. I feel like I just want to delete this whole chart and just give a fresh markup. You know what? That's exactly what I'm going to do, because there's nothing that I can see. So, besides there being a zone right here that I'm like, hey, if price breaks through this zone, then we're going to see the likes of 28K more than likely. And there's just something that I've been noticing, and it's just the amount of people who want this market to be bullish so much that they're not paying attention to the signs. And I'm talking about just people who have been in the crypto space for a while. It's like themselves, you know. And it's not that I promise you, I genuinely do not be watching a whole lot of other people's content, because I want to be able to just have my own opinion and not base my opinion based off of what I think somebody else thinks. But, you know, they see that there's this zone where prices bounced off of multiple times, and that prices just failed to go bullish after it's bounced off of this zone here, and they still are like, you know, hey, I want to go, like, hey, I want to go and not dollar cost average, but I want to go and put a large investment up over here at these prices, which is not a bad idea, because it's at 34,000. If price goes to, what does price need to do for it to for you to make double of your investment, which is not a bad investment at all, right? Price just needs to come over here to like 68,000 in order for you to, which it has previously been at. So it's not that it's unrealistic. That's not an unrealistic goal. It's not that unrealistic at all. But the only thing is the way how the bearish market has been and how everything else has been correlating and been bearish with it. That's when you have to be like, okay, it's not a coincidence. It's because the the U.S. stock market, the Nasdaq, them should not be correlating this decent with how the crypto market is. You know, that's like saying that, oh, back in 2017 there was a huge drop off in the market. Let me actually go and take a look at that, because I've never actually thought of that. Back in 2017, let's see what the Nasdaq did. Yeah, back in 2017, this thing was rising. So 2018, come over here, did some consolidating, but it really didn't fall off. So same thing with the Dow Jones, right? Let's go see what is done over here. 2017, all bullish, come over here. 2018, okay, it dropped, but it just did a minor correction. Nothing like how it did with Bitcoin, where back in 2017, not over here, but over here, where price, no, this is, why does the chart, do I have this on log? Or like, you know, let me just keep going, because I definitely didn't. I was just looking at the wrong area. But yeah, we see like late 2017 price goes bullish, and then 2018 price just takes a hard hit. You know, we haven't seen the markets were not like correlating at that point in time this well, versus how now we're seeing. Let me go on the weekly time frame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks of bearish movement on Bitcoin, but at the same time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks of bearish move on the Nasdaq. Dow Jones, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks basically of bearish move. It's the same thing. So when you're seeing them correlate like this, it's just like it's not a coincidence. It's really not a coincidence. It's just something is going to go on. But after if and when price does break through the zone, the next zone that is more than likely going to come to is between that 30K and 29K. And then once that breaks, hey, I'll give the zones. I've given the zones once, or the prices once, and I'll give it to you guys again. These are the prices that you should definitely be encouraging to, if you will invest in Bitcoin. And I've said this before, and I'll make this public. Any prices under $40,000 for Bitcoin 5 years down the line from now is going to be considered still of a lifetime. Just calling it right now. But dollar cost averaging at these prices, not a bad idea at all. Not a bad idea at all. But then when we start to come down to that 28K, 22K, 17K, even possibly 10K, because I'm not taking 10K out of the picture just yet. I do know that previous all-time high got broken over here, and that's actually at a very perfect zone of where to look to put the bulk of your investment into Bitcoin, because I actually want to take a look and see when Bitcoin back over here previously made its all-time high, did price ever come back down to it at 1,156? Once it broke through there, it never did come back. It never did come back. So that's something that we do want to pay attention to. So, but yeah, 28,708, 22,717, and 17,768. Those would be some money makers, some money making prices right there for sure. But other than that, I'm pretty sure same thing as with the Nasdaq. Arbitrage is going to call bearish moves on all these time frames. Daily, 4 hour, so close. 1 hour time frame, all bearish. So yeah, I have to stick with the bearish bias at this point. And same thing with Ethereum, right? Let me go ahead and just remove the chart. I'll do the same thing. But same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, basically almost 6 weeks, but 5 weeks of bearish price action, just like with the S&P, Dow Jones, and the Nasdaq. That's not normal stuff. That's not normal activities. So it's just like, hey, at this point, and sometimes based off of how the chart looks, it looks like Ethereum moves more than Bitcoin, but I promise you it doesn't. But right now there is this zone that Ethereum could definitely just hold off on and then go bullish from. If I go into the daily time frame, although this weekly candlestick, I wouldn't dare do it. I would not dare go against this at this point in time. I would have to sit. I have to sit on my hands, even though I see that there is a possibility for a buy move right here. Price is underneath that 78.6, and the way how price is dropping, it doesn't look like it wants to stop quite yet. So I am going to have, I'm gonna have to sit on my hands. From this low to this high, the retracement price has been holding at this zone. This is a Fibonacci zone that I've mentioned for us to buy at multiple times. From this low to when price made an all-time high, buying at this zone is become now. I don't want to say it's become a trend, but now I can say that it's become an area where now all eyes are at this zone. All eyes are at the 78.6 Fibonacci zone on Ethereum. And when all eyes are on there, again, just like how I said earlier, in order for people to win in the market, much more people have to lose. And so right now, for people to be buying at these prices, that's probably what a lot of the big players who are more or who are the winners in the market, they're probably like, okay, a whole bunch of people are more than likely buying right here. Let me not buy here. Let me actually sell off some of my crypto, or let's make the market go bearish. You know, so that's kind of how I'm looking at it at this point in time. That like, okay, there's definitely not everybody not everybody has the best interest of the crypto market going bullish right here. Not everybody, and the ones who don't have that interest are probably the ones who have the most money in the market. Quite honestly, so long term wise, and this was a price that I had previously talked about down over here at 16.95, and I for sure did not get into that because it's from this low to this high. It's just the 61.8 came there 3 times, but regardless, I do believe that 1914, 1471, 1105, even possibly 720. Even possibly 720. And if you just go ahead and put some volume up here, there's even talks of possibly over here at 114. I swear. If I don't want to make these type of claims, but if I have, let's just say I have $50,000. I'm just saying hypothetically speaking, right? If I have $50,000 and Ethereum comes over here to 102.31, I'm putting 40,000 up in Ethereum, and I'm okay with putting 10,000 in some other type of cryptos. But, you feel me? So just that should just show you how much these cryptos, they do, like, them going bearish like this. As much as I know that there are people who are going through terrible emotions, or like emotions that are negatively looked at, this is an opportunity for, and I feel like I say this every week, but this is an opportunity for us to for you guys to really set yourself up in the next couple of weeks to months to be like, hey, we're done over here. I want to put a good amount of my money in there as an investment, and I want to see what's going to happen in the next 3 to 5 years, because this is still the play that I'm looking at overall. And from what we've been seeing through history, if we get that, more than likely it's the likes of 7,000, 8,000, we're going to see it again, like in the next 3 to 5 years. And on arbitrage, everything's all bearish on it. And GU is another pair that everything is just so bearish. Like, it's crazy. It's kind of wild. It's kind of wild how bearish this has been for the past couple of weeks. Don't necessarily want to even touch it at this point in time, because after that daily candle right there, and then just all this consolidating, you just want to leave it alone for now. But at this point in time, what I would probably want to see is a retracement before a continuation to the downside, if this is going to continue going bearish, which I genuinely feel like it is. So we'll see what goes down. This is what I want to see on GU. I'm pretty sure that there's no time frame that's calling for a buy quite yet. 1 hour time frame. If it's not, this is probably what I'll play, this 1 hour retracement move. But other than that, 4 hour, 2 hour, daily, all of them, it's all bearish. So trying to get into a buy is really risky right now. It's really risky business, and I wouldn't do it. GBP JPY, on the other hand, is currently at an area where I'm actually kind of interested in the buys. So I talked about how, hey, right here is an area where I want to see what price is going to do, if it's going to go bullish, right? It did come a little lower than my fibs, but then popped up and has retraced back down. Reason why I'm still interested in this, and I'm going to look at the weekly time frame before I make that decision on if I do or don't want to, is because I did notice that on the 1 hour time frame, price did break through this structure, and I'm like, okay, that's a good sign. And especially with the way how bullish GJ is, pressing the buy button on this isn't going to be as difficult, you know, because it is really bullish. It's just that GPUSD is extremely bearish. But yeah, so GJ, it did break through that structure right there, and then from this low to this high, we can see that price has been rejecting on this zone very nicely off of this, even off of this 78.6 right here. So realistically speaking, I'm about to get into a buy on GJ, but the way how this came down is my only issue at this point. But you know, I'm gonna go ahead and get into this buy. Wait, before I do this, I'm gonna go ahead and set everything up for now. More than likely, the play is just gonna be up to over here, so a 1 to 2. That's not terrible. But let me go ahead and take a look at what arbitrage is talking about real quick. But I am looking for buys on that. Daily time frame is calling for a sell today. Okay, that's only today, so that's whatever to me. Weekly time frame is still very much bullish. 4-hour time frame, I did this fib setup play, but the 4-hour is calling for a sell. That is difficult for me to try. Okay, but the 1 hour is calling for a buy. Okay, this is solid. Okay, perfect. That's all I needed to see for me to get like even better confidence to get into this buy. And in fact, now at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and make the stop loss even a little bit tighter, because I would love for it. I love that the 1 hour right here is calling for a buy. So for arbitrage, this would be the play that I would look for. It's basically the same stop loss. And that's like about a 1 to 2.32 risk to reward, but that's cool, you know. Over here, on the other hand, I do definitely like the idea of price going bullish right here, right now, and I'm okay with having my stop loss. How many pips is it? 106 versus having my stop loss 236 at this point in time. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into this buy. I am going to have a final target up here for sure, longer term, for 174.177. But I'm looking at this area over here at 166.250 to be an area where price possibly turns around. So overall, that's a 1 to 4.65 risk to reward ratio. Regardless, that's fire. 106 pips is the 1 to 1 risk to reward. Okay, so that's right over here. And I'm gonna go ahead and set that alarm off for 1 to 1. 1 to 1 hit. All right. So we'll see what happens when that plays out. 214 will be 1 to 2, etc., etc. I'm just gonna leave those up. So yeah, we'll see what goes on, but definitely like the fact that arbitrage in the 1 hour time frame is going for a buy on this. The 4 hour time frame is not the greatest look either. It's not the greatest look. I'll tell you guys that right now. But I do like how the level pro is above ground zero. So we're gonna go ahead and just see what happens on GJ, and then the daily time frame, once price gets up to 162.443, we'll revisit that. So that's on GJ. And Euro GBP, I really don't have much to say about it other than once you break this zone, then you can come and talk to me. So other than that, I believe that I have gone through the pairs that those who have requested. You know, I've gone through them. We'll see what goes on with it. Let me actually take a look at USD JPY one more time. Yeah, exactly. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is exactly why I was like, hey, you don't want to buy it, because it could just keep going. Or, I mean, if you do want to buy it, then that's by all means. Yeah. That being said, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and hop off. Let's see what this GPJPY play is gonna be, and let's make some money this week, y'all. Catch y'all later. Deuces.